Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have a bit of a boring video, but I really want you to tune into this and stick with it. This is an important step if you are going to use Ableton Live to control your patch changes on a MIDI keyboard like the Nord Electro 6D that I have right here. This concept will apply to any other keyboards that you are doing program changes, so stick with me and let's dive in. So I'm showing you how to program a template for your program changes to use for your keyboards. So I have a default set pulled up here. I just deleted the sends and returns and a couple of the other tracks. So I have this one MIDI track that I'm going to work with. We'll quickly go through this because I know I covered this. We have our MIO-XC connected to the Nord so that we can test these out. Tracks enabled. All of our settings are correct on the Nord. If you're confused on any of that, check out how to have Ableton control your Nord program changes and it'll explain all that. I'm just going to set my output here. Channel 1, let me double check that my Nord is on channel 1 over here. And it is on channel 1, so we're good to go there. So what I'm going to do in this session is I'm going to have a MIDI clip for each one of my banks on the Nord. If I was doing this for my Roland Phantom or Phantom O, I'd have bank A, B, C, D. However your keyboard is designed, banks, different parameters on how your scenes or programs or patches are designed. Do whatever makes best for you. This is what makes sense for the Nord. So again, each MIDI track will be a different bank. So I'm just going to create a couple different ones like this. So I'm just going to press Command D. That way it'll duplicate the MIDI routing that we already have set up and we don't have to redo any of that work. Before we go any farther, up here to File, I'm going to go ahead and save live set as, and I'll just save this onto my desktop and I'll name this Nord Electro. Electro, gotta sound it out, 6 PC for a program change, and I'll press save. And just because I'm a playback engineer, I'm always gonna hit collect all and save, even though I know I don't have to on this set. I don't have any samples in here. Anyways, I'm gonna rename this first MIDI track, Command R to rename it, and I'm just gonna say A. I might like it if I say bank A. Let's try that. Bank A, we'll do this one, bank B. And then let's do one more. We'll do C. Great. Now I'm going to go into bank A and we're going to start from the very beginning. Again, if you're confused on how to do any of this, check out my last video because I'm just going to go quickly through this. We have 1, 1, and 1. And let's just test this real quick. So I'm going to press play in Ableton. We'll jump you over to the Nord. And that is the correct MSB, LSB, and program change. And so now I'm going to rename this MIDI clip A11. From here, I'm just going to Command D a good bit and get us some scenes going in here. And then I'm going to go right here, rename this. This will be 12. So we'll rename that to 12. And then we'll go down here and our program will change to 2. And let's just double check that. All right, so we're on a roll here. So let's do a couple more. So we'll go to 13. And then we'll change this to 3, and then we'll go to 14, change that to 4. So I think you get where I'm going with this. So now when we go to bank B, again, I really wish that the Nord came out with a sound list. They don't, so we have to kind of think through this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So B11 should be 17. So we've got bank 1, sub 1, and then 17. Let's see if I counted correctly. And sure enough, I did. So from here, I'll rename this clip B11, and then I'll just Command D to duplicate a few of those. And then we will go from B11, we'll do B12, and we will do program 18. We will go to 13, and we will be at program 18. And let's check those. So we got 12. I'm going to turn my global quantization to 0. That way we don't have any delay like we just did. So that's all I'm going to do in A and B for now. I'll delete these other ones so that we don't get confused at all and overwhelmed. If you're using all patches on A, I'd go through everything. Another quick tip that will help you too, if you do not like labeling them A11, 12, or anything, you can just label them whatever names that you have in there. So I'm over at S Bank now, and these are the sounds that I actually use live. So I would just name them however they are named in here. That way there's no confusion. When I'm programming a song, if I know I need this grand piano, I don't have to know that it's S21. I just know that SF grand is SF grand. So if I go into Ableton, let's just act like this one is S21, even though we both know it's not, but I would just name it SF grand. So then when I go to program my song, I have my clip right here. I'll copy it, Command C, press tab to go over to arrangement view. And let's say that this was our track that we were putting our program changes on. I would paste it wherever I want to go. Let's back us up. I'll show you the Nord once I press play, and it'll jump us over to that patch. So if you want to save some time, if you know you're not going to use all banks A through Z on the Nord, don't worry about programming everything. What I normally do is I program as I create sounds for new songs, but I make sure that I update my template every single time that I program a new patch and want to use that with Ableton. So now you've done the work, you're probably super bored and you're probably like, well, what's the benefit of doing this? So let's open up a new set here. I'm going to go into Signal Fire. So I have this Ableton Live set pulled up that I use with my band Signal Fire. If we go into Ableton Live's browser, we saved our template right here on our desktop. So I'm going to click on the project and here's the folder. For this one, I'm going to use the From Studio to Stage template because it has everything in there. So we will open up the project and we'll see all of these in here. So to start out with, I'm just going to grab one of these MIDI tracks and I will pull that into the session. We don't need to grab a new MIDI track for every program. The only reason that we programmed it that way is that way they're organized. So if we're like, oh, we want to jump to program in, then we can scroll down and open that, and then we have all of program in's clips that we can drag in. So right here, I'm going to rename this from program A to Nord PC. The nice thing about creating this template too is when you drag in your MIDI track, if your routing is all the same, if you're using the same interface that you will be live and the same channel, then all of this stuff right here will be the same. So let's drag in a couple program changes. So we are going to take in A11 and let's do us a favor and we'll scroll right on in here. I like to set my grid to 1 bar, so we'll set it to 1 bar and we'll drag this right on the downbeat. And let's go back into here. Let's go grab program G. We'll do G21. Let's do D41. We'll put that one right there. I will press play right here and then we'll jump you to the Nord and watch how this does all the program change work for us. So that's the entire benefit of creating a template, and now you can go and program your songs, you can go program your sets, and you will rename all your clips so that you know which patches they correspond with, and you can easily drag them into a song and know exactly which patch you're going to get. And there is very little room for error. If you've done all the prep work, you've tested everything out to make sure that it's correct, then there is really no margin of error there. I hope all this helps. Again, it's super boring, but if you take just the 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, if you have a lot of patches to program in there, and you save them into a separate Ableton session to create a template, save everything in session view, then you can quickly pull stuff into your songs and into your sets, and you won't have to question what MSB, LSB numbers you're using, or even in this case, if bank A11 is the correct patch for the piano sound that you programmed. You have everything labeled, everything will be nice and neat, and you won't have any questions. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. Ableton Keys on YouTube and Instagram, and we have more videos dropping every single Friday on our YouTube. Until then, I'll see y'all next time.